Hi gang, Donna here. Yes, I know I missed last week, and it really isn't my fault, but Mercury Retrograde has been a wild dog with me this week. Actually, it started before we even hit the official retrograde on the 14th, because I've had internet problems. All of a sudden, my internet decided, well, we're not going to allow you to upload. And the internet company came out Thursday. They thought it was the router. Wasn't the router. And I know you really don't care about all this, but they're coming today on a Sunday because, well, I'm still having issues. And, well, I only have a small plan on my phone. So I have to be cautious about how much I upload on my phone. And that still even takes a while. But I wanted to get the weekly done. So it's not going to have all the normal accoutrements with it. It's just going to kind of be plain Jane unless they get it fixed tonight, and then I'll re-edit everything. But let's get into the astrology. And, well, I wish I could say it's going to be a nice week, but according to the Llewellyn Daily Planetary Guide, they say this is how they title the week, and you're just going to love it just as much as last week, because last week was kind of emotional. And I did take the time, and I wrote out everything for last week, but alas, there was none. Anyway, literal lunacy. Doesn't that sound like a fun time? Literal lunacy. Great. So Crazy Pants is going to be out and about, and things aren't going to make sense. This is another emotional fueled week where the only non-lunar aspect occurring during the entire time frame is a clarifying conjunction of the Sun and Mercury retrograde on Sunday. That's today. Or actually next Sunday, because, this is in the book, it's the 17th through the 23rd, but I do the 16th through the 22nd. So hold on to your hats until next Sunday, folks. That's all I can say. Which will help restore a sense of rationality and lucidity. That's next Sunday, though. So something to look forward to, if only temporarily. Great. With the full moon opposing Pluto on Monday, followed by a lunar opposition of Saturn on Wednesday, the early part of the week is marked by a passive-aggressive resistance to authority, which will be bolstered by Tuesday's T-squared between a highly individualistic Leo moon squaring a despotic, intolerant Uranus in Taurus, and opposing Mercury in Aquarius, a configuration indicating opposition to any kind of oppressive utopian collectivist view. Sentiments start to swing to the other extreme on Thursday and Friday with a zealous lunar trine of Mars and Sagittarius, with a hippy-trippy grand trine between the Moon, Uranus, and Venus in the Earth signs that is shrieking kumbaya at the top of their lungs. Sounds like a plan, doesn't it? Sounds like a party. Friday is an excellent time to search for love or go on a date. Well, with COVID, you can take your chances and go on a date. Or, Anyway, as it will be easy to be swept away by romance. Saturday is a mixed bag again. It's a good day for charity work or protecting, but don't be deluded into thinking things will stay peaceful. All right, the moon square of Mars in the afternoon could ignite small sparks erupting into out-of-control conflagrations very quickly. So keep your eyes open and stay safe. Stay safe, my friends. So, now that I read that to you, and I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but, I think it's kind of important because it looks like we're headed for a lovely crap fest. But all we can do is stay positive, right, folks? That's all. So, I hope you pay attention to the astrology and understand that when Monday and Tuesday seem like we're going to be at odds, Wednesday and Thursday we're going to be kumbayaing, and then we're back to kind of craziness this weekend. So until Sunday. But anyway, let's get into the cards. As always, I'm reading with the Cosmic Tarot. So first card up is the King of Wands. While we would all like for love and romance to be around, no, he's there. And I'd like to think that that's the way it's going to play out in the world. But, sometimes things can present themselves. And I'm going to look at this as a situation, not so much as a man. Things present themselves as, if we have rose-colored glasses on, even the worst situation in the world, we can see it as a positive thing. Even the person that may seem to be how do I say, too good to be true, too perfect. Usually they are. So pay attention, dig deep, and really look at the person for who they are, not just go, oh, well, look at that. They're all in a nice little package with a nice little bow. No, really pay attention, because sometimes really they're not all that they appear to be. But there is a new beginning. So that being said, with this person or this package, sometimes we're presented with the most perfect thing, so we fall for it. So we learn a lesson. And that lesson gives us hope and optimism, and that lesson ends up teaching us something that we needed to have taught to us that maybe we were missing in the bigger picture. So look at it. Look at the big lesson here. What do you see? If there's a new beginning, which I think we all are going to be seeing a new beginning. I mean, since the beginning of 2020, since this virus took hold, we have all seen a new beginning. And I mean, when you look at the workforce and you look at the world around us, there's so many different things. I mean, did you think back in 2019 that, hey, you're going to be wearing a face mask? Did you think that? I mean, look at it this way. You only have to do your eye makeup. But, I mean, life is really different now. And so we do have that new beginning. We have a new beginning in the world across the board. And I don't think we always see that. And we are sent a lot of mixed signals and mixed dialogue. And when you really look at the big picture about lunacy this week, it makes total sense. The Four of Wands. So staying on your toes, staying focused, you kind of need to do that. You need to stay focused, and you're starting a new journey. So once again, we're on this path and we're starting a new journey. Do you have your rose-colored glasses on? Are you looking at everything and going, okay, this is going to be really good? Because I'm not faulting you if you are, because sometimes once we're dealing with all this muck that we have, sometimes we need to just kind of step back and go, okay, let's take a breather. Let's look at life. Let's enjoy life. Let's embrace some happiness. Let's turn off the news and all the negativity and try to make a good point in our life, a good start. But just remember that sometimes everything that we think we see isn't always the truth. And the one thing I have to say is during this little journey, especially when someone shows up, be a little protective of yourself. I like this deck because for me, especially her, the Princess of Swords, she can come across really ticked off. Today, she's kind of like, I'll cut you. If you come at me, I'll cut you. The funny thing is, her sword is made of glass. So glass can still kill you, yes, but it's not as sharp as a metal sword. So it can be defeated. It can be broken before it ever slices the skin. But she's also got the hawk there. So be protective of yourself, of your business. Don't let somebody come in and blow smoke up your skirt and tell you, hey, I got this idea for you and I can make you, dun, 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 a star. Because you know what? The honest truth is they're looking to make themselves money. So pay attention to that. And I know somebody's going, gosh, you're so bitter. No, I've just had some people do this to me. So pay attention to when somebody says something and it sounds way too good to be true. Really check it out, really document, really investigate, and see the bigger picture. Judgment. It's funny because when I was shuffling, this card popped out. And it's getting dog-eared now, but this card popped out. And so when I was shuffling the second time, because I really wanted to shuffle because I didn't shuffle the first time so well, this card actually was in the deck backwards, even though I put it in right. So this card is something you guys need to pay attention to. Breaking free of things that are holding you back. So you're on the new journey, like I said, but you need to make sure you're breaking free of past hurts, past problems. I'm not saying just go, oh, that doesn't apply anymore. No. Use the knowledge you have and test things. I'm not saying that, if you're getting in a relationship, we'll just use your relationship for example. Don't sit there and go, well, he's just like Brad. I don't know Brad, but, don't sit there and compare because he's not Brad. But if he sits there and starts telling you things that you feel you need to hear, that just makes your heart go pitter-patter, pay attention, because he may be selling you a line. You never know if Mr. Gentleman here, who suddenly, well, I don't have all the answers and I don't want to give you my cell phone. I'm going to be busy this time. You never know if they're pulling a scam. And that could go with women too, because sometimes women date more than one man. So anything you're doing right now, whether it be in business, love, whatever, move past the past, but don't lose those lessons, because those lessons are there to protect you. And while we break free, the Nine of Swords. So you got to watch out for people trying to stab you in the back. This is what it kind of has been leading up to, because it's like, oh, we have all this nice little positivity thing. We're moving along and everything's good. And sometimes there's nobody really stabbing us in the back but ourselves, because we're letting our subconscious mind feed those lies. It goes back to the thing I said about Brad, the fake Brad, because there is no Brad. But if you're looking at this and you're comparing, we'll say Chuck, the new guy you just got, we're comparing Chuck to Brad, and Brad is nothing like Chuck. But in your mind, Brad really did a number on you, and you're sitting there going, well, Chuck just seems too good to be true. Well, is your gut saying that, or is that your head telling you that? Because sometimes that betrayal can come back, and you can betray your own self. Your thoughts can betray you. So listen and remember the lesson, but don't throw Chuck out, with the baby in the bathwater, because, don't throw the baby in the bathwater out at the same time. Chuck's the baby. Don't throw him out. Just make sure, even if it's a project or whatever, make sure you vet it. Make sure you vet him. I'm not saying go get a private eye, but listen, stop, listen, observe, pay attention to who he is. While this can be noted as a bride card, because you can see the little bouquet and she looks like she's got a veil, this isn't about running away and getting married. This is about you looking at your creative projects. This is about looking at your financial situation and saying, okay, what works for me? I need to be creative in my thinking. I need to be creative in making my money. I don't want to betray myself. I want to be I want to take care of myself. I want to be able to do things on my own. I don't necessarily always need a partner. One thing that a lot of women make the mistake of is thinking, well, my man will take care of me. And I'm not saying that that's not a good thing. I'm not saying that at all, because, being married for 16 years, it was wonderful to have a partner. But at a certain point, you also have to make sure that you're able to sustain your own life and take care of yourself, because sometimes that partner may not be here. And when that happens, you need to be prepared. So, make sure that you're taking care of you. Karma. Yes, karma. Anyway, Saturn's here. And Saturn likes to give what it gets. It likes to make sure that it's the taskmaster and you're doing the work and you're in charge. That you're taking charge of your life. And that's what I mean by being in charge. If someone gives you something to do, you need to do it. Don't sit there and go, well, I have Saturn doing something wonky, and my Saturn is doing something wonky to my natal Mercury, which, when you think about it, communication, which Mercury Retrograde, but Saturn's up my butt with it. And so therefore my communication and my internet, which is a form of, for me, it's a major form of communication, because I have a podcast. I have not been able to get my podcast going. So I finally got one last night, but you have to look at what you're putting out there. Where's my karma? If I'm being given this lesson, I need to move forward. And sometimes we'll go back to Chuck. If Chuck's being presented, it's to see if you're ready. And there's a great analogy that I like to use, and it's the pothole analogy. And it's like, sometimes we keep repeating the same mistakes. Sometimes we keep pulling people back in our lives, and it may be a friend, it may be a lover, whatever. But we will pull them back. We'll meet somebody and we're like, wow, it feels like I just met this person. It doesn't feel like I just met this person. It feels like I've known them for years. And there's that karmic bond. But It's like, oh, our friendship hit it off fast, da 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 da, and you're like, about maybe a week or so when you're like, well, this person reminds me of somebody. And sure enough, it plays out the way it did. So there's that pothole, and you fall face forward into the pothole, and you're like, oh man, now what? All right, so another time passes, you meet somebody else, you're like, oh, okay, this is great. Pothole again. By the third time, you're kind of like, I think this person kind of reminds me of this, before you even get too far into it, and you step around the pothole. And next time you just completely avoid the pothole. But you got to pay attention. And that goes back to letting go of the lessons, but remembering the lessons at the same time. And that's just about your judgment. It's about, I can remember these lessons, but I need to vet this person on their own merit. If they end up showing up like the other person, then it's time to walk away and say, thanks, but no thanks. The next card up is the Prince of Wands. Part of that process, that vetting process, is being protective of who you are and keeping things close to the vest. This person in this card, and this I feel will be what we need this week, because, since we're on this wild ride, we need to be able to be in our head to analyze things and protect it of who we are. We need to listen to validate, but we need to analyze. So make sure you're analyzing with your head. And I know somebody's going to be like, but you told us not to get so far up in our head. I'm not saying get in your head, but don't sit there and let your head take you down from even starting something. Don't let your head block you so much that you're like, okay, I'm done. You didn't even start it. You got to step into the water, dip your toe in, see if this person's valid. If they're not, then go, bye. Don't have time for that. Because this week you're going to be making plans. This is all about making plans. Where do you see yourself in a week? Where do you see yourself in a month? Where do you see yourself in a year? And if you really want to go big, go home, 5 years, 10 years. What do you plan on? And I mean, this is still January. So we're looking at the big picture. So why not sit there and make your plans? Where do you want to see yourself? I'm not saying it's going to happen, definitely, but where do you see yourself? Mercury retrograde right now is a perfect time to reflect on the past of where you've been. And that's kind of what we're talking about with these lessons. Where have you come from? What lessons have you learned? What do you want in your life and what don't you want in your life? Those things are important to look at, and you need to make sure you're looking at them going, okay, I got this. This is what I'm going to do. Ten of Pentacles, money being there. So it's important that you're looking at the money aspect of your life, making sure that you're at peace, which is something that, according to the astrology of this week, peace is not going to be something that is very easily attained. The only way to make peace for yourself is if you step away. And I'm not saying definitely go be a recluse and be a hermit. What I'm saying is take a step back, look at things and go, okay, if this isn't serving me and it's causing me more stress, then I'm done with it for now. That can be a creative project. That can be a relationship. Sometimes we just need our space. And lastly, for the tarot, we have Justice. So finding balance, using your intuition to know what's right, what's wrong, and finding balance, because it's going to be key this week. Now, as we look at the wisdom of the Oracle deck, well, a change in the wind. And that kind of denotes, like what the sun was saying, is that there's a new beginning here. You need to look at the new beginning. You need to figure it out and then decide how to proceed. Sometimes a change in anything can totally upend us. We don't know what we want to do. We don't know how we're going to do it, and we get lost in it. So a change in the wind is something major, and you have to pay attention to it. The overall theme of the week that is not in the astrology is peace. As I was saying, you need to find your peace, and the change in the wind doesn't always denote peace. So you have to find a way to find some balance this week, because you can't ride this whole roller coaster that we've been on for the last couple of weeks and expect to not get out of sorts a little bit. So find a way to connect and make peace with things. Get a leg up. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. By stepping back and really looking at everything, you can kind of figure out things. And if you figure out things and start preparing for your next moves, planning ahead for the next day, week, month, whatever, year, you then can actually get a leg up on things because you're setting things in place. You're setting on how I'm going to do this. You're setting an intention. So get a leg up. It's important. And lastly, which it seems to be the theme overall for the week, round and round, here we go. Where it stops, no one knows. Yeah, that should be just a theme of the coronavirus, because round and round we go. 1 minute it's this way, next one it's that way, and we don't all know. So I don't want to get into details about that, but that's the way life's been since 2020. 1 minute we think, oh, everything's going back to normal. Oh, but wait, there's more. Yeah. So try to reel it back in. And lastly, the fairy tarot card. The fairy tarot. Yep. It's the Princess of Autumn. Studious, responsible, cheerful, and mischievous. Happy news about your career, promotion, or scholarships. Well thought out plans that go perfectly. Needing a little push to get going. And that's kind of getting out of your head. When you think about it, if you need a little push to get going, sometimes it's because we're in our head and we're like, why are we even bothering? This is not going to work. We shouldn't do that. Well, who said? Who said? Sometimes the impossible actually works out more than we ever could have hoped. So, on that note, I do have a reading special. So if you can go to the I can't talk this morning. So yes, this is going to be perfectly unedited. So you get me flubbing things and everything. There is a reading special. And if you would like to get a reading from me, a private reading, you can go to the Facebook page and you can see where the discount code is. It's a pinned post on the Kitty Mystic Facebook page. To book a reading, you can go to dmneedom.com. That is dmneedom.com. And there is a thing that says Intuitive Readings, Kitty Mystic. And that is where you can book your reading. If you scroll down, you will see where you can book your time. So on that note, I hope you hang on to your hats this week and make it through. And even Chloe Kitty is meowing. So she's giving this reading her seal of approval and wishing you guys well. And, well, I hope you have a good week and hang in there. It's going to be a wild ride, but, we'll make it through. So on that note, have a great week, guys. Bye.